I am at the airport in Washington, Dulles. Let me tell you how I got kicked off United Airlines for eating a sandwich. Absolutely no just cause, just because I was eating a sandwich that they gave me the option to eat. Now, I'm still baffled by this, on top of the fact that I am extremely tired. I've been on the road for maybe damn near 3 months straight, it feels like. And I'm coming off the road, flying in Richmond on home time. So my flight left out of Texas at 5:45, and then we had to switch flights in Washington Dulles. The connecting flight was to depart at 10:15. They boarded early. So just before I got on the flight, I went to Jersey Mike's to purchase a sandwich because I was really hungry. And I got the number 7, the turkey club sandwich. And I went to board the flight so that I could eat my sandwich. And I'm not thinking anything of it because the flight that I just got off of, they were giving out snacks. But I was hungry, so the snacks weren't good enough. I wanted some substance. So I bought a sandwich at Jersey Mike's, and getting on the flight, I can already see that it's kind of small, which is new for me. It felt like a private jet. So we were getting on the flight, and hi, thank you for joining. Um, Cash and Abe the bot. Um, so we're getting on the flight, and the lady is making an announcement. I'm talking about how I got kicked off of United Airlines for eating my sandwich. Happy birthday, Abe the bot. I hope you enjoyed your day today. So I got on the flight and immediately sat in my seat just behind the first class. And and so I had my backpack on, and I had my sandwich in my hand. And she made the announcement that if we had our backpacks, to put it up in the cubby. I had it on the floor, so a gentleman came and he put his backpack in a cubby. And I said, "Oh, wait, am I supposed to put my backpack in a cubby?" So he said, "Yes." And so I got up and I put my backpack in a cubby, and I sat down to prepare to eat my sandwich from Jersey Mike's. As I was preparing to eat my sandwich, she came to me and she said, "Excuse me, you're going to have to put your sandwich in that cubby hole down on the floor, where they keep the little nasty magazines." And she said, "You're going to have to put your sandwich there or eat it." And I started laughing and I said, "No, I'm going to eat my sandwich." And then she said, "Yeah, that's laughable to me too." And she walked away. So I'm thinking that she agreed with me that it made no sense to put the sandwich in the cubbyhole because I'm going to eat it. So I'm preparing my sandwich to eat, and then she walks in the back, and then she shoots back in front of me again in the first class section, and she makes an announcement. "I'm coming around to collect all the trash now." That's what she said, and that's exactly how she said it. And I started laughing because it was funny to me. And I was like, maybe I should not be laughing, but I'm tired. And so when I'm sleepy, everything is funny. So she made that announcement, and she's coming around with the garbage bag. And um, she comes to me again, and she's like, um, "You're gonna have to put that sandwich in that cubby hole, or you're gonna have to eat it." And I said, "Ma'am, I know you see me eating my sandwich. I know you see me eat. Everybody sees me eating my sandwich." And she walked away. Next thing you know, she goes back to the first class. She's handing out chips for the first class section. And then she comes to me and she bends down while I'm sitting down, and she said, "Excuse me, ma'am, am I going to have a problem out of you on this flight?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And I started laughing. I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And then she walked away. And then, no, she didn't walk away. She said, "Am I going to have a problem with you out on this flight?" And I looked around to everybody, and I'm like, I'm so dumbfounded. I'm like, "What are you talking about, lady?" She said, "Am I going to have a..." And I said, wait a minute, let me unbuckle my seatbelt and let me stand up. Because what you're not going to do, you're not going to talk to me like I'm in kindergarten. I'm a grown woman. You're not going to talk to me like I'm in kindergarten. Let me stand up so that we could be at eye level. Because at this point, I'm feeling threatened, right? So when I stand up, she turns around and shoots to the pilot section. So then the pilot comes out. I'm still standing up. And the pilots come out. um, "Ma'am, have a seat." And I said, "Wait a minute. No, she was talking to me. Are we still going to have a conversation?" And then he says, "I'm going to tell you one more time, sit down." And I said, "Is she still talking to me? Because why am I going to sit down and have her come and pointing in my face?" So he said, "Okay." He walked away. Next thing you know, this older guy comes, and he's like, uh, "Excuse me, ma'am, can I have a word with you off outside?" So I said, "For what?" And he says, "Well, I'd like to have a conversation and find out what happened, but I don't want to talk to you in front of everybody." So I took my seatbelt off, and I'm like, "Okay, fine, I'll come outside and talk to you." So he says, "No, you need to bring all your things with you, all your belongings." So I said, "Hi, Sky." So I said, "Wait, are you kicking me off the flight?" So he said, "No, I just want you to come outside so we can have a conversation." And I said, "Okay, I'm coming." He said, "Well, you need to bring all your bags." So I said, "Okay, are you kicking me off the flight?" So he's like, "No, I just want to have a conversation." I said, "But if you're telling me to bring my bags, that means you're kicking me off the flight." Having a conversation, thank you, I appreciate it. Having a conversation and me bringing all my belongings and you kicking me off the flight is two different things. So then he comes and he bends down and he points in my face. "Hey, Bray." He points in my face and he says, "You're not flying on this aircraft." So I said, "Oh, okay. So that means you're kicking me off. You didn't say that." So I said, "Okay, yeah, no, I'm not getting up. I'm not coming outside." "Hi, Courtney. I'm not doing too well, baby. Ombre." And so I said, "I'm not getting up." And so then he goes and he gets this other little guy and this little, Mexican guy. And then he comes to me and he's like, "Ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you to get off the flight. They don't want you flying on this plane. So you're not allowed." So I said, um, "What do you mean? Like, what do you mean I'm not allowed to fly on the plane?" So he's like, "Well, they don't want you on the plane." And I said, "Well, that's not fair. Tell me why." And so he said, "It's just because she doesn't want you on the plane." So I said, "Okay, no, I'm not getting up because that's not fair to me." And then I don't know, baby. I don't know. And so then someone else comes, another lady, customer service rep, and she's like, ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you to leave the flight. And I said, no. She said, we're going to put you on another flight. And I said, when is it going to be? And she said, I don't know, sometime tomorrow. And I said, okay, no, that's not acceptable. I'm not going. So she said, well, you can't sit here. You have to get off the flight. I said, no, go get the police. Go get the police because you guys are not about to put me off the flight for no reason. And get me the information that I need. I need this lady's name. So she was like, okay. So she went and she made an announcement and she said, everybody have to get off the plane. Everybody, they were deboarding the plane to make some adjustments, i.e. to get me off the plane. So I let everybody go, and then I was the last one. And I'm talking to the pilot, and I'm telling him, like, what's going on? Why did she single me out to start trouble? And then all of a sudden, he said, she's afraid of you. And I said, what do you mean she's afraid of me? I said absolutely nothing to intimidate her. And then he's like, well, she said she's afraid of you. I said, explain to me how you create. Good night. Okay, I'm all right. Okay. Good night, baby. Have a good night. Okay. Thank you for joining. And so, I'm talking to him, and he's clearly not interested. And I'm like, what's going on? So, long story short, they kicked everybody off the plane to get me off. They won't allow me to fly. So they left me stuck here in Dulles, Washington, Dulles, and I have to find my own way to Richmond, which is 2.5 hours, meaning I have to either rent a car or figure out how to catch another flight and pay for it because they're not giving me my money back. They're not putting me in a hotel. And I'm trying to figure out how do they have not only the audacity but the authority to do things like that, to just single people out and say, no, you don't get to fly on this flight. Because, and I'm so floored, like I am upset, but I don't want to be too upset because I don't want to give her my energy. But at the same time, it's like, that's completely wrong. Like, how do you create a problem and then create the fear to accommodate the problem? I did nothing to you. I literally did nothing to you. I'm sitting there eating my sandwich because I am absolutely hungry. Make it make sense, y'all. Um, I'm gonna go to. Bray has to go because she needs to get some sleep, and it is kind of late. But I'm gonna be posting because this is unacceptable, and I want to see like if some legal action can be taken because I have the whole economy portion of the train that was telling everybody that I did nothing wrong. So why does she get to just pick me out and say I don't want you flying on this plane, and then everybody follows suit? So if anybody knows anybody that I can talk to in forms of lawyering up and to filing a suit against United, please help me out. Please let me know, and then I think I need to seek some legal action. Thank you guys for listening. I'm so tired. I don't even know what to do right now, but I wanted to get this out there because this injustice is not fair at all, and it should not be um, acceptable behavior for United Airlines. Apparently it is because they've been getting away with it, but it should not be acceptable behavior. Okay, thank you guys for listening. I'm sorry. I'm so tired. And I don't know what to do right now, but thank you. And you guys have a good night, okay? Bye.